Hello guys, good evening. Making another short video for you about real estate. This one is going to be dedicated more towards the buyers buying process. The very first thing that you want to take care when you're planning on buying a home, it is to make sure that you know what amount, how much property can you acquire, and that the way that you get to this point is by talking to a mortgage originator. Mortgage originator will get you pre-qualified, so that way we can hop in the market and we can know how much house can we buy. After that, we want to put the house under contract, and we do this by submitting a very solid offer with very good terms that that will lead us to close a successful transaction. So we want to make a very attractive offer. After we go under contract, we want to make sure that everything is good with the house, but legal or property size, well, both. That's when title comes in, and we make sure that every transaction that has happened with this property has been done correctly. There's no past errands to the property or anything like that. We want to inspect the property top to bottom. You're going to be moving to this house. We want to make sure the property is in the best conditions possible. We want a great transaction. And guys, those are some of the key points that will lead us to a very successful closing. Again, closing a transaction, selling a home is a great feeling. It's a great feeling, but there's nothing better than knowing that that you are in a great place and that you will love. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful night.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty. That presentation there was done by Willie Suarez Maceo. Yes, this lady's Lathario Man Magnet has a secret, and we have to be very careful about judging a book by its cover, because this particular cover could have had a lot of people deceived. See, Mr. Willie here was very popular with the ladies and with the gentlemen. He made women wet and men drip. However, could there have been a secret behind this well-spoken facade that you see here? See, I always say that the internet is a lie. And I say that for several reasons. Because you are in control of your content and of what you want people to know. So what he did not want people to know was this.
Now to a crime alert. A South Florida real estate agent turned suspected serial killer faced a judge for the first time today. Local 10's Janine Stanwood is live in Southwest Miami-Dade with what happened in court. Janine. This 25-year-old real estate agent from the Kendall Lakes area where we are faced a judge and is facing an attempted first-degree murder charge. The judge calling his alleged actions peculiar.
Mr. Willie Maceo.
25-year-old Willie Suarez Maceo facing a judge Christmas Eve. The licensed South Florida real estate agent is now described by police as a serial killer whose victims are homeless.
Homeless individuals, for apparent no reason, have been brutally targeted.
Investigators say they have ballistics and video evidence that Maceo is responsible for 2 late-night shootings that happened hours apart on Tuesday. In the arrest report, police say the shootings were unprovoked, that the victims were sleeping on the sidewalks when they happened. They also believe this is Maceo's black Dodge Charger, seen the night a homeless man was fatally stabbed in October, and this nearby surveillance image bears a striking resemblance.
Mr. Maceo is never seen carrying out the shooting.
But in court, the public defender arguing that just because Maceo owned the gun and the car used in the shootings doesn't mean he's the one who did the crime. No one answered at Maceo's home in the Kendall Lakes area. No one was at his real estate office off Killian Parkway.
If he's guilty of these crimes and they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt, he has a very
very peculiar pattern of finding unprotected individuals in the streets that are not even awake and going up to them. And what it appears to be an execution style for reasons that are unknown.
So he was denied bond. Again, he faced a charge of attempted first-degree murder. Those other fatal incidents are still under investigation. Police say charges could be pending. We're in southwest Miami-Dade. I'm Janine Stanwood, Local 10 News.
See, it turns out that Mr. Miami Heat, Willie Suarez Macio, had a thing for the homeless. And not in a good way. He's been investigated for the murders of 2, possibly more. There's evidence of him coming from the scene. His vehicle is caught on camera. And one of the ballistics that was examined matched a gun in which Willie owns. But I'm doing this story because people should allow this to be a cautionary tale, that looks can be very deceitful, that you cannot really judge a book by its cover. And in this day and age, with all the killings that are going on, people will still invite someone who looks safe, even if they just met online, over to their place. I just did a story about a young female who was murdered. She met an older white male online, and that ended very tragically. Here's Mr. Macio, captured, leaving the scene of one of the murders. And this is his Instagram account here. By the way, some of the lustful comments that were left by men and women was erased. I guess people felt very embarrassed by the inappropriate language that they were using. And I guess overall their comments in general, that they do not want to have their name attached to a serial killer. So believe me, they got rid of those comments. Porsche-loving Miami realtor accused of execution-style murder spree. Now, it just seems like to me that had he would have never gotten caught, he would have just gone on and on. And he had something against the homeless people who weren't bothering him. They were not harassing him. 2 of them were just asleep. And he shot them for no apparent reason, only because he has a disdain for homeless people. I want you to read this. Okay, the first one said, "This is crazy because he looks so normal. Just goes to show that you can't trust anyone. Prison in Florida are some of the worst, so he'll get his karma behind bars. No, you cannot trust looks." And this guy right here, many would have invited him home on a first date, based upon because he looks, quote unquote, safe. But let me remind you, there is no such thing as a safe look. Remember Jeffrey Dahmer? He had what is considered a safe look. That can be some of the dangerous looks that you can encounter because you let your guard down. Person gained another one. I doubt he would ever see the light of day again, but if he is released, he, at age 90, deport him back to Cuba. So he's a Cuban immigrant, or, okay. Serial killer's got tampons on his desk. Don't know what that means. Now just another prisoner. This is so crazy. Serial killer, somebody questions it. Yeah. Well, I mean, what did you think a serial killer looks like? You think he's going to be dirty, gruffed up? They're going to look like Willie. So this guy right here, I mean, he would have had many people fooled. And let me repeat again for the 100th time. You cannot trust anyone that you meet online. This is the reason why as I stated before, I do not believe social media. The pics that people post, they're supposed to be so happy, successful, smiling, what they represent. I don't believe half of that stuff. Social media is a fantasy. People can create their own reality. No one would ever have suspected him of being a serial killer. Had they would not have never caught him, he would have killed how many? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He would not have been able to stop because the drive and what compels them is just too strong. He would have maybe taken a break, but eventually he would have restarted back up again. And many times with these serial killers, they'll take a break, then they'll move to another state, and they will resume their activities like before. So no. People say that Willie Swords does not fit the stereotypical killer. He does not look like a killer. But I ask you, what does a killer look like? And I'll tell you, a killer has no particular look. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is another edition of Sin Beyond and Through with Monty, and I will see you all beyond and through.